Tucson.
Ashton. I'm Yoshi.
Megan.
And, our idea is just to make a coffee table, and basically we wanted to look at it from like a design standpoint, trying to merge what we had to incorporate 7 as a group number and 09 for the year. So we kind of merged it to try and create one form out of the elevation of it. So this top piece is the 7, and then once you attach this one, it creates the 0 void and then the 9. So that was our aesthetic decision to do that.
Our original intention was to indent this to have a piece of
They have a wood inlay. Yeah. Sit inside this 8-inch gap to sit flush inside there. But I don't know. When we poured it, the concrete got caught on the lip that we made in the form, and I don't know. This is the part we packed kind of flush, and it just never fell in there. So when we pulled it apart, we thought it still kind of looked cool because it shows you how the concrete is constructed in general with the wire inserts and the concrete form.
So instead of putting a wood slab, we just
put a glass top on it so that you can see through it. But we were thinking about later on maybe filling this with a resin or an epoxy so that it's a solid form, so that it's still one solid, and you can like utilize the whole top.
It has inserts for like
little,
legs.
Yeah,
and
little
it
legs.
plugged in the top.
Yeah, and
Cool.
it's supposed to like sit flush.
Great.
Yeah.
So it could be a table or a seat, and that could be like a
Yeah, you can like flip this over and like use it as another surface.
Great.
Crystal.
And we made a table that, well, it's kind of short now, but it's supposed to be taller. We set the dimensions. We wanted it to be 2 feet by 2 feet, and then it was like 18 inches high, I think. And we set our proportions by trying to use exactly 1 cubic foot, with the diameter of the legs being the same as the thickness of the top. But I think we got a little cocky with our concrete forming abilities.
Long were those legs?
About 17 inches.
Uh-huh.
And they were built to pop through the top here. Here, we could flip this over here.
Okay, yeah, take one out so we can see it.
Set to go through, we had this little notch in them, and they were supposed to come through and form right to the surface on the top. And we left out reinforcing because we actually had the reinforcing built, but when we went out there to cast it, we found it wasn't really. Didn't think there's enough room to get the concrete down the tube.
I think the aggregate was too thick.
What was the reinforcing made out of?
Wires, like small diameter wires that we actually had like little 3 of them with.
Real
wire
cage,
structure.
huh? Okay. So you never tried that? You didn't do one that way to see if it worked?
We didn't think there wasn't enough room for the aggregate to go down once it was in there. But this was actually the top, and we had a kind of a slatted texture that we had cast into here, and then also our names and our group number and everything.
Some of them came out, but some of them didn't. I think the letters were too small.
This side has some intention to it, right? Even though it's not exactly what you want it to be, the other side is just like what's left over, right?
Yeah.
So I would be courageous and say that's the top. Just make it the top, yeah.
This side?
Yeah.
Yeah,
/ stool, if you really wanted to sit on it, I bet you could. We haven't tested that yet. Basically, it's a pretty simple design. We just made a simple central form and then made the tabletop that fits on it, over it, and got yourself a small table.
Can you put the table the other way?
Yeah. You can.
You don't want to do that. You decided to have the rough surface on top?
Well, the numbers are on the top.
Okay.
So yes, we decided to put the rough surface on the top.
Okay.
But there's a 0 on top of the middle peg, and then on this one, the 2 numbers are 8 and 9. So when you put it in, it goes 0, 09, and then 8, which is the section 2. And you want to explain how we
the legs
walls were just cast by, it was a plywood form, the whole thing, and this was just a foam, a rigid insulation piece that created the void when we put it in.
So
we
you,
just-
the inside of a box.
yeah, this was just a box, and then this was sitting in the bottom of the box.
AJ,
Laura,
Hoshi,
Jeff?
everyone, and we built for a concrete project a fountain, basically.
So what we did is we did kind of staggering blocks. We made the exterior out of plywood, sorry. And then we used contact paper to get like a nice finish on here. For the bottom, we laser cut our numbers out of plexiglass, and then we put the plexiglass against the plywood with contact paper against that, so you get like a smooth finish on that. And then we cast holes into the fountain,
Using
so that,
actually the plastic from a hanger.
and then we use Vaseline along the hanger so that they just like slide out. The concrete set around it, and they just kind of like slid out as we pulled it. Then to get the formwork out from the inside, we had to, it's really difficult to get it out from the inside, so we use Peter Sumter's method of getting concrete form out. Which
Very impressive.
it's a burning of the concrete form. So we kind of chiseled down at the form, let it come in a little bit, and then we burned it out from inside. So we smell like barbecue right now a little bit. And then this is, sure.
It smells like house fire, not barbecue.
Yeah. So this is just how the fountain works.
isn't it the water?
That's It'll be fine. It's stop. Alright, so basically we made it 3 levels, so it would go back and down the other level. But we just to show you, we like rearranged it and did it only one. So we don't have.
Our original function of this piece was to create kind of a concrete matrix to hold many different bottles, some creating the void that we were hoping to be able to take the concrete bottles out, so it would create a void, and then you could put other kinds of cylindrical, maybe drink holder type thing. So as you can see, we casted some in glass bottles, we casted some in plastic bottles. Oddly enough, the plastic ones, if you can see our piece here, left a more of a milky white finish on the outside. Does somebody want to kind of
Well,
pick up?
I think our main issue was that we decided, and it was my idea, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone by actually pouring the concrete in the bottle and then putting the bottle inside the mold, where it would have been a better idea to put an empty bottle inside the mold and then have one outside to be able to break them apart, and then those would fit exactly in.
No, this needs class. Yeah, I got it. Yay! Fountain.